Hi, this is Natasha once again, Natasha Chef, aka Natasha Ford. And this is video number 3 based on the topic of 7 criteria for selecting your food. And so I am going to talk to you about fresh food. I think this video is probably going to be the shortest video because at the end of the day, this is so self-explanatory. I shouldn't even have to make a video, but I'm gonna still make one anyway because I just want to, and I want you guys to enjoy, having me talk to you guys about food. So fresh food. What does it mean to eat fresh food? What do you think it means? I would love to hear your comments on this. But food that is fresh simply means food that is fresh. There's a difference between a whole egg and an egg replacer. Again, this is no attack on anything. If you feel like you like egg replacers, go ahead and eat your egg replacers. But the whole criteria of selecting food that is fresh is that you want food that basically is fresh and real. You want food that you could smell it. It's fresh, it's divine. It is real. It all has all the connectable parts. Like in part 1, I talked about food that is whole. You see how it all intertwines with each other? Seasonal food, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later on. But you want to select food that has a freshness about it. You want food that has all its edible parts. You want to be able to go to the supermarket. For instance, I'm going to talk about fish. If you see a fish and the fish eyes are all bloodshot red, the scales are, when you lift up the gills, if it's a whole fish and the gills are gray, the fish has a weird odor, like it smells really fishy, that fish is not fresh. So that's just a tidbit for you, to know how to properly select fish. The gills need to be pink. The eyes should have a clearness to it, or it should not look like it's bloodshot. When you press against the fishes, and if you don't have a whole fish and you're selecting like salmon, if someone pushes their finger in the fish and that fingerprint stays there, it's not fresh. You should be able to put your thumb on the skin, and not the skin, the flesh, and eventually your thumbprint moves. If you push it and it's almost like it's soggy, like almost like you're touching like a rotten vegetable almost, then that fish is definitely not fresh. So even when you go to the supermarket, press your fish. Even if they get irritated, press your fish, or ask them when they touch the fish with their glove, can you just press it or hold it up and just touch it? Press it. You can tell. Smell it. Smell your fish. Don't be afraid. Tell them I want to smell my fish. Fish should smell like the ocean. It should have a mild smell. If the fish smells real fishy, and I've had this happen going to prominent supermarkets. I will not call the supermarket's name because I'm not going to defame a supermarket. But I've been to prominent quote-unquote supermarkets in New York and bought fish. And then when I smelled it, I was like, ugh. I've been in Florida and went to prominent supermarkets and smelled the fish. And I was like, no way. This fish doesn't smell fresh. And I'm using fish because fish is a very obvious thing. Just because it's fish, it's not supposed to smell fishy. And you know what fishy smells like, that terrible fishy smell. And it's so funny. I remember living in New York, and I lived in my condo co-op, right? I lived in a cooperative, like a condo, same difference, was different rules. And I remember sometimes my neighbor would be cooking fish, and it would just smell so fishy. It would permeate all through the hallways. It just smelled not nice. And I can tell that fish was not fresh. Anytime you cook fish, yes, the whole house is going to smell like fish, but it shouldn't smell stinky. Like, like a bad egg type of smell, or, like if somebody's having a horrible, time of the month, women, or smell like sewage-ish, like when you go by a pond or something and it just smells. Do you notice that lakes and ponds don't smell real fishy unless something is wrong, like the water is very still? That kind of way, garbagey, fishy, and if you find fish that smells like that, don't eat it. Trust me, throw it away. Order pizza, do something, but don't eat it. You'll make yourself sick. And then you'll get up to, and it might take a couple of days before you get sick. And then 2-3 days later, you'll go eat McDonald's, and then you'll blame McDonald's. You know, when it could have been the fish that you ate, the bad fish that you insisted on eating. I don't care where it came from. It could come from the best, you know, supermarket anywhere. If a fish don't smell right, don't eat it. So, like I said, I'm using this as an example for you to re-engage with your food. You know, we do some odd things sometimes, don't we, as human beings? I'm looking down like, what is going on here? I'm playing, you know, my garbage can with my foot. But we do some odd things as humans. We'll see things and smell things and taste things, and it don't smell fresh. It don't look fresh. You know, it's like how we eat. And we're gonna talk a little bit more about the seasonal stuff in another video. But we'll do some odd stuff like pick up a avocado, and the avocado is as hard as sin, and we'll come home and we'll let it sit there for a couple of days and then try to force cut it. And I'm thinking to myself, can't you? There's so many other vegetables and fruit in the supermarket. Find something else to eat. You know, I mean, I've been guilty of this. You know, the other day was force ripening avocados, putting them in the cupboard to get them right when they're clearly out of season. And I'm like, there's done the other things I can eat in my salad. Just eat something else. You know, when I was in Barbados growing up as a child, we had an avocado tree right outside of our house down the street, and you know, they cut the tree down later on to put a street light, which was so annoying. But you know, that tree only sprung avocados certain times of the year. You know? So, and I mean, if you want to eat something like avocado any other times of the year, pickle it. You know, pickle it. Pickling is a great thing to do. You know, and then you can go back, freeze it, and then you could go back and eat it later on. You know? This is your girl, Natasha, once again. Thank you so much for joining me as we re-engage and fall back in love with our food and ourselves. Definitely go to my website. If you love this video, tell me. If you don't love it, then okay. That's all right. You know, then it's not for you. You know, if you already know this stuff and you think I'm boring, then hey, that's life. It happens. But if you find that I'm fun, I love you too. And I love everybody all the same. Don't forget to join me, like I said, on Thursday nights on Facebook, where I have more fun and the calypso's a little bit louder, and I'm dancing and having a good time in the kitchen and showing you all these fantastic, great things to do to just help you, again, re-engage with food. Thank you so much for joining me. Check out, it's going to be the fourth video on the idea, well, third, I'm sorry. The third one on the whole idea of food being real. And I talked about it a little bit in this video. And we will be talking soon. I love you. I love all of you. Have a wonderful and blessed and beautiful day.